Hey everyone, my name's Richard Taylor and I'm coming to you from the East Coast of the good old USA. There's three major things to us Final Cut Pro enthusiasts that are happening for the rest of 2024. We have the iPhone 16 Pro Max event happening first. That's in September. For the last year or 2 years, Apple has updated Final Cut Pro around the iPhone launch event. So we could see an update to Final Cut Pro, maybe for the Vision goggle thing, spatial video editing that Apple promised was coming in 2024. So there's a possibility we'll see an update to Final Cut Pro around the iPhone 16 Pro event. So that's the first thing. The second thing for Final Cut Pro people like ourselves, the Apple M4 Mac event, which is happening in October. There's going to be maybe a new M4 iMac, maybe a new M4 16-inch MacBook Pro. I don't know what they're doing with the Studio. Maybe an M4 Studio will come out, Mac Studio. I've heard rumors of a brand new redesigned M4 Mac Mini, all big Macs. They're certainly going to run Final Cut Pro a lot faster. So that's the second thing, the Apple event in October. The big thing that's happening, the biggest Final Cut Pro event in the world, is happening in November the 13th through the 15th in Cupertino, California. It's my favorite Final Cut Pro event of the year. And we're back at the Juniper Hotel, which is a perfect place for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. November the 13th through the 15th. On Wednesday the 13th, we are going to Apple Spaceship Campus to get a presentation from the Final Cut Pro team. That's a great opportunity. Last year at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, we went to the Spaceship Campus. We got a presentation from the Final Cut Pro team, and they introduced Final Cut Pro 10.7 to the world. We got the debut in person right there at Apple Campus. I expect something like that's going to happen again, although I'm not sure what version of Final Cut we're going to see. Could be Final Cut Pro 11. And the reason I say that is, last year at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, they introduced Logic 10.8. 6 months later, they introduced Logic Pro 11. So Final Cut Pro 10.8 came out in June. 6 months from June is around the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. So Logic Pro jumped from 10.8 to version 11 in 6 months. I think that Final Cut Pro could do the exact same thing. They could jump from 10.8, which is where it is now, to version 11. Around the Creative Summit would be the perfect timing. They at least can give us a preview at the Creative Summit and say it's coming out at the end of November, it's coming out in December or whatever, but we'll probably see a preview at least of the next version of Final Cut Pro, whether it's 10.8.5, 10.9, but I think it very likely can be Final Cut Pro 11. Don't forget to tune in. Final Cut TV and Coffee every Saturday morning. Right now we're doing them at 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time. We have a worldwide Final Cut Pro community. The Final Cut Pro team watches all my social media, Richard Taylor TV, all one word. Facebook, Twitter, X, and YouTube. Thanks everybody for tuning in. My name's Richard Taylor. I'm talking to you from the East Coast of the good old USA. I'll talk to you next time.